Breaking news. UK's immigration crisis. Millions face uncertain future. A major upheaval is sweeping across the United Kingdom as new immigration rules take effect in 2025, causing widespread distress and forcing millions of immigrants to reconsider their future in England. With policies tightening and pathways to residency becoming more restrictive, countless individuals and families now find themselves at a crossroads, unsure of what the future holds. In this special report, we will break down these new immigration policies, their immediate consequences, and the real-life impact they are having on immigrants, businesses, and the UK economy. From sweeping changes to work permits and asylum claims to new visa requirements and family reunification restrictions, the landscape of immigration in Britain is shifting dramatically. 1. The new immigration rules explained. The UK government has implemented a revamped point-based immigration system, fundamentally altering the qualifications needed to stay in the country. Under this system, immigrants must accumulate a specific number of points based on criteria such as skills, salary level, language proficiency, and education. Only those who meet or exceed the required threshold will be eligible for long-term residency or citizenship. Additionally, family reunification sponsorship has become significantly more difficult. Only immediate family members of British citizens or long-term residents can apply for reunification, and even then, strict financial and eligibility conditions must be met. This change has created an emotional and logistical barrier for many immigrants hoping to bring their loved ones to the UK. Meanwhile, skilled worker visas have been narrowed to prioritize only highly specialized professionals in sectors like healthcare, technology, and engineering. While these fields remain open to foreign talent, the number of visas available has been drastically reduced, and they are now granted primarily to individuals with niche expertise or significant financial backing. The rationale behind these policy changes, according to the UK government, is to prioritize economic growth while ensuring resources are managed effectively. We believe this new system will help us balance population growth, strengthen our workforce, and ensure long-term stability, a government spokesperson stated. However, while these rules aim to streamline immigration, they have created significant challenges for those who previously qualified under the more lenient system. Many skilled workers and families who have lived in the UK for years now face the possibility of being uprooted, unable to meet the new stringent requirements. 2. Real-life impact on immigrants. For millions of immigrants, these new policies are not just legal guidelines, they represent a personal crisis. Families who have spent decades in the UK are now confronting the painful possibility of having to leave the only home they have ever known. I've been living here for 15 years. My children were born here, and now we're being told we have to leave. It's heartbreaking. This is our home, and it feels like we've been abandoned, shared one distraught immigrant affected by the new regulations. The impact is also being felt across key industries. Healthcare, education, and technology sectors, all of which rely heavily on immigrant workers, are bracing for severe labor shortages. With thousands of foreign healthcare professionals facing visa rejections or deportation, the National Health Service, NHS, could experience staffing crises that directly affect patient care. Similarly, the technology industry, already struggling with talent shortages, could see a significant loss of skilled professionals, potentially stunting innovation and economic growth. Education is another area where immigrant contributions have been invaluable. Many foreign-born teachers, university lecturers, and researchers now find their jobs and futures in jeopardy. Schools and institutions that depend on their expertise may struggle to maintain high education standards, ultimately impacting students and the broader academic community. 3. The forced exodus. Why immigrants may be forced to leave. With the strict new criteria in place, millions of immigrants now find themselves in a desperate race against time to either adjust their legal status or make arrangements to return to their home countries. Immigration lawyers and advocacy groups report being overwhelmed with urgent cases, as individuals scramble for legal solutions before deportation proceedings begin. We're seeing a surge in cases from families and individuals seeking legal recourse, but for many, there's simply not enough time left. The regulations are rigid, and unless significant changes occur, thousands, if not millions, will be forced to leave, said an immigration lawyer who has been assisting affected families. Even for those who are legally permitted to stay, The new financial thresholds and job-specific visa requirements have created uncertainty. Those who previously met residency qualifications now face unexpected hurdles, such as increased salary requirements or sponsorship complications, leaving many without viable options to remain in the UK. In some cases, immigrants who have lived and worked in Britain for decades now find themselves facing deportation orders due to bureaucratic oversights or newly enforced eligibility checks. This forced exodus threatens to alter the cultural and economic fabric of the UK, potentially reversing years of contributions made by the immigrant community. 4. Public outcry and calls for change. As news of the sweeping immigration restrictions spreads, public reaction has been swift and intense. Thousands of people have taken to the streets in protests, demanding that the government reverse or soften its stance. Advocacy groups have launched campaigns pushing for a reconsideration of these policies, arguing that immigrants have played a vital role in shaping modern Britain. These changes are unfair and short-sighted. We need policies that reflect the values of inclusivity and fairness. Immigrants have built this country, and they deserve a future here too, said a spokesperson for a leading human rights organization. Critics of the policy argue that the government is failing to recognize the long-term benefits of immigration. Research has consistently shown that immigrants contribute significantly to the UK economy by filling essential jobs, fostering innovation, and increasing tax revenues. A mass departure of skilled workers and established immigrant families could result in long-term economic stagnation, making Britain less competitive on the global stage. Additionally, there are growing concerns about the psychological toll these policies are taking on affected individuals. Families are experiencing heightened anxiety, job loss uncertainty, and the emotional distress of potentially being separated from their loved ones. This humanitarian aspect of the crisis has intensified calls for the government to introduce special provisions for long-term immigrants and those with deep-rooted ties to the UK. The road ahead. What happens next? With voices of opposition growing louder and legal challenges mounting, the coming months will be critical in determining whether these policies remain in place or are revised. Will the UK government reconsider its stance, or will the nation face a mass exodus that reshapes its cultural and economic landscape forever? Only time will tell. One thing is certain: the debate over immigration in the UK is far from over. As the crisis unfolds, millions of lives hang in the balance, waiting for clarity, compassion, and a path forward that ensures a fair and just immigration system for all. Stay tuned as we continue to monitor this evolving situation, bringing you the latest updates on policies, protests, and personal stories from those on the front lines of Britain's immigration crisis. What do you think about these new immigration policies? Are they necessary for the UK's future, or do they go too far? Let us know in the comments below.